Well, I'd sooner be woke liberal scum than an ass-kissing, pedo-supporting, racist, brainwashing, idiot MAGA clown any day. Hello and welcome to Everything's Fine Probably, your weekly antidote to bad news. The podcast where we bravely stare at the news, sigh deeply, and then fire it directly into the sea like an unwanted toaster, before realising we might have breached the High Seas Treaty. But it's okay, because we live in the UK where the government still can't be bothered to ratify it because they're too busy trying to stop a moderately left-wing politician from getting a seat because that's the real threat to democracy. Priorities, Kia, switch on, come on, man. Yes, generally in the intro, I do talk like that about topical things that have happened, normally in the world of politics, and attempt to poke fun at its absurdity, but I'm not doing that this week. Okay, I've just emotionally logged out of all that rubbish. Yes, there were things that happened, big things, loud things, men doing that face they do, you know the one, like a toddler who's just been told they're not allowed to own someone else's country. People turned up in files that they probably didn't want to turn up in. Someone probably said something controversial because everyone was paying attention to them. I just can't bring myself to give a toss. I'm just tired. I'm not physically tired, just spiritually tired. The kind of tired where your soul puts on its active waistband trousers, orders a week's worth of Domino's pizzas, eats them in one sitting, and then refuses to leave the couch. Instead, I just want us to do what we do best. That's good news, joy, hope, and a gentle reminder that the world contains some people who aren't self-serving assholes determined to drag us back into pre-World War I imperialism because they think empathy is for woke liberal scum like us. Well, I'd sooner be woke liberal scum than an ass-kissing, pedo-supporting, racist, brainwashing, idiot MAGA clown any day. Which brings us to this week's theme, when celebrities go right. And no, not in a Lawrence Fox type way, it's okay, calm down. This is about famous people who have used their immense wealth, influence, or just spare juicy afternoons to do genuinely good things, often without fanfare or even an Insta post featuring the word humble. We'll be talking about celebrities who looked at the state of things and thought, you know what, I'd help being decent, because that's like a 2026 version of punk. So we'll be talking about actors, sports people, and various rich weirdos who have chosen generosity over yachts. Or maybe chosen both, but at least they did it in the correct order, which should be the rule, right? Like washing your hands or not putting a flag in your name on the socials. As always, this is about good news because good news matters. It's good for your brain and your mood, and hopefully it helps you be nice to other people because that's important too. So, settle in, unclench your jaw, and allow us to take the news cycle, pop it in a cupboard, and then forget which cupboard it was. Helping me in my quest to spread a little happiness are Gemma and Stu. Hello.
Hi. So you talked about holding back a bit and saying, you didn't really care so much,
Yeah,
but you did lose a little bit at the end there.
little bit.
You got a bit ranty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've all been there, haven't we, Gemma?
Yeah,
On a
no, they
file we don't want to be in
often.
often.
Have you?
It's quite the week, isn't it, for Control F? Luckily I wasn't on there. Were you? Did you search yourself?
Were
No,
you
did not
redacted,
search
Gemma?
me. Huh?
Were you redacted?
No, I think I'm safe. I don't think I've made that particular file.
It'd be a week of people frantically controlling their 5 million files, wouldn't it? Seeing if their name pops up. But Peter Manson in his pants, that's a highlight, isn't it?
It's an image I never needed. I still don't need it, and I prefer not to talk about it. I hear he's going to have to. It looks like he may have to give back his title, and then I'll just be known as the Prince of Darkness.
Yeah,
presumably.
as we record this tonight on the 3rd of February at 7:30, breaking news just come in. Police are going to investigate, and CPS are involved, so it is a criminal investigation now.
Sarah Ferguson, she's come out of it well.
She's come out of it well.
Anything for better publicity with Fergie in it.
Yeah. Not a good week for Andrew. not the greatest pictures, but
When
just-
when did he last have a good week?
It's been a
yeah.
while, hasn't he? Really, I think you've got to go
Mm.
back pre the Pizza Express interview.
I did hear that picture, which has been released. He did say he wasn't there that night. He was at Nando's this time.
Ah,
Oh,
Yeah.
he remembers that distinctly, does he?
Yes,
I
he
remember
does.
all my trips to Nando's
Yeah,
as well. It's
yeah,
always
yeah.
memorable.
He wasn't there that night.
so to be fair though, I can't imagine that he would be the type who goes to a chain restaurant that regularly. So maybe it is
Well, I
quite a
don't
memorable
know.
event. I'm just
Pizza Express, there's
I, th
Nando's.
I
I think
think
he's quite a sucker for
I
them.
think you'd remember allegedly, wouldn't you, looming over quite a stiff-looking young girl on the floor about to give her CPR. But memory's a funny thing, isn't it?
Certainly is. Certainly is. Anyway, let's move away from all these slightly seedy celebrities and on to the good ones. Stu, do you want to kick us off? Tell us about a celebrity who's gone right.
Well, do you all know Idris Elba?
I've,
of
I've
course.
heard of Idris Elba, yes.
Yeah, have you? Have you watched any of his shows before? I used to quite like Luther.
Yeah, I like Luther.
Loved Luther. There's
Yeah.
one that still gives me nightmares, but we won't talk about that.
Is it the bus one?
It's the one with the game, like the dice game.
All right.
Well, anyway, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Idris Elba. Did you know he's born in Hackney,
No.
in East London, in the 1980s? And he used to work at the Ford factory. He used to do grueling shifts there. At night, he was spinning records also in clubs, late night. So, do you know what his DJ name was?
DJ Idris.
Not bad. Big Driss. So Big Driss was there in the late 80s, spinning his records, working in the Ford factory.
Can I just stop you very quickly?
Yeah.
Just an interesting little aside. You said he was working in the Ford factory. I didn't know that. But I was wandering around London a little while ago. You know those blue plaques that they have
Yeah, yeah,
around the
yeah,
place?
yeah.
Well, apparently, according to the blue plaque, Charles Dickens worked at TGI Fridays.
Did he? Oh, okay. So did was Prince Andrew there that night?
I've no idea. He couldn't remember. Sorry, let's get back to Idris.
But what he did then was he got a grant from the Prince's Trust, and with that, sort of kick-started his career. So let's fast forward. So this year, he's now Sir Idris Elba. Good thing about Idris is that he likes to give things back. He's recognised for his tireless efforts in youth empowerment and social justice. I just want to talk a little bit about that because it's not often you hear good stuff, is it, about celebrities? And as we started the show tonight, we've talked a lot about sleazy people. Would you like to talk about the power of the pivot?
I saw that Friends episode and it is one of my favourite.
That was a good episode, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think that's probably the best one they did, wasn't it? As a scene.
yeah,
Yeah.
the pivot scene is
Yeah.
brilliant.
So in the early 2000s, Idris was
Sorry, Gemma's got an interjection.
oh, got
I did have a pivoty interjection. It's probably not that good, actually. To be
Go
fair,
on
you
then.
really have to pull-
Go.
Over one of my demos when I was teaching dance would pick up on the fact that I said pivot a lot or had to say pivot a lot. So as I was on a stage, mic'd up, presenting a class to nigh on 100 people, my demo, not mic'd up, would be mock shouting at me, pivot! Right,
So what would that be? Sort of looking at the crowd at different angles, or why would they shout pivot at you?
He wasn't. Well, he was shouting it at me. Well, as in whisper shouting, because I was telling the ladies that they had to pivot on their left foot and step back on their right foot.
Oh, I see. Right.
Okay. Not just couches that you pivot, it turns out.
No, so thanks both for a good couple of examples of pivots there.
Were either of them relevant to the Idris Elba story?
No, but I enjoyed them.
Good, good.
Yeah. Do you know in the early 2000s, Idris was told he would never make it in America with British accents? Well, we know different, don't we? He didn't just learn the dialect, he became the culture, as Stringer Bell in The Wire. Anyone seen The Wire?
Yeah, I did see The Wire. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing show. So it's one to go and revisit. He didn't just play a drug kingpin, he played a man applying the theories of Adam Smith to the streets of Baltimore. So there's a bit of depth there as well, isn't there? So he taught us that identity is fluid. You are not defined by where you started, but by the discipline of your craft. Whether he's playing the stoic Heimdall, guarding the gates of Asgard, or capturing the soul of Nelson Mandela, Idris reminds us that specialisation is for insects. To be truly human is to be multifaceted. Through the lens of John Luther, Idris gave us a masterclass in modern masculinity. He showed us a hero who was physically imposing but emotionally raw, a man who understands that true strength isn't the absence of chaos, but the ability to navigate through it with a heavy heart and a clear mind. Let's move on to the Elba Hope Foundation. So he co-founded this with his wife, Sabrina, and this is all about creative futures. So partnering with the King's Trust, he launched a program providing free training and professional mentoring to hundreds of young people locked out of the creative industries. He is literally funding the next Idris. Witnessing the epidemic of youth violence, he launched the Don't Stop Your Future campaign. He didn't just put a hashtag on and thought, that's me done. He stood in Parliament Square with the victims, met with prime ministers, and successfully campaigned for the historic 2024-25 ban on zombie knives in the UK.
Fantastic. One person who might feel that maybe Idris hasn't helped support the futures of the next generation might be his daughter, Eisenalba. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but she auditioned for the role of his daughter in the movie Beast. And he didn't cast her because he said the chemistry wasn't right.
Well, you know, that avoids nepotism, doesn't it?
It certainly does. But she didn't speak to him for 3 weeks.
Well, that's always going to happen, isn't it? I mean, you know, that was a bold move, wasn't it?
It certainly was. To tell your own daughter that she didn't have the chemistry to play your daughter in a film.
Yeah, well,
is brave. It's brave.
That's an audition you don't want to fail, is it really? Well, I didn't know that. Thanks, Jim. But his community doesn't just stop at the London limits. He's also a UN Goodwill Ambassador. Idris has become a bridge to his heritage in Sierra Leone and Ghana. He is advocating for rural resilience, helping smallholder farmers fight poverty and climate change. He is even working to build an eco-friendly smart city on Shibiro Island, Sierra Leone, transforming a homeland from a piece of aid to a place of investment. What's the lessons of Idris Elba? Big Driss. It's a reward to bask in. Idris didn't wait for permission to be a musician, an activist, a director, or a knight. He simply showed up and did the work. He proves that you can be the sexiest man alive 1 year and a legislative powerhouse the next. You can be an icon of the silver screen and a DJ at Coachella, all while fighting for the lives of kids in the streets of London and the farmers in the fields of Africa. Good for you, Idris Elba.
Excellent. We love that. And yeah, it's not easy being the sexiest man alive, is it, Stu?
We've all been there, haven't we, Jim?
Have we, Stu? Have we?
And it isn't easy. It isn't easy. Never happened to me. Has it ever happened to you?
Not knowingly.
Not knowingly. What about you, Jim? Have you ever been the sexiest man alive?
Hang on, let me think about that one. No.
Okay.
No.
You failed the audition, I'm
I
afraid.
did. Yeah, I liked how
Idris
you
said
looked.
no.
I liked how you looked straight into the camera when you said about Idris being voted the sexiest man alive, as if you were
Yeah.
expecting. And I was sitting nodding.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I always think, I think they missed a trick. I think they could have cast him as Bond, don't you?
Yeah, he's probably too old now.
No, yeah, it's gone now. But I think there was a point
Yeah, no, he'd have been a great Bond.
where I think he could have done a couple of Bond movies there.
Yeah, no, he'd been good. Idris certainly looks like he's a fairly trim fella still.
He's well fit, isn't he, Gemma?
He is. He's a good-looking man, is Idris, and
So
a nice man. More importantly, a nice man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we like Idris.
We do like Idris.
He's an all-round good egg.
Well, before we get on to I just want to make a few honourable mentions to people who almost made my short list. They are Brendan Fraser, who just seems to be quietly nice guy, know where you go, does a lot of work for mental health charities. Stormzy,
Yes.
who funds scholarship programmes, community outreach, and then just gets on with it.
Yep.
Olivia Colman, the UNICEF president and a patron of Refuge, a UK charity supporting women and children affected by domestic abuse. And Mark Ruffalo, who does environmental activism without it needing to be a Marvel promo. So thanks to them for being decent human beings.
Yeah, strong list there.
However,
Olivia Colman, Norfolk, isn't she?
yes, indeed.
Yeah, one of our own.
Born here in Norwich. The person I'm going to talk about wasn't born in Norwich, but is probably the least flash footballer alive, and that is the Senegalese winger Sadio Mane.
Ah, did he used to play for Liverpool?
He did, yeah.
Ah.
So he is a footballer who's made a very clear and deliberate decision not to become a bell end, which in professional sport, well, it's a bold stance, isn't it? Because be fair, footballers have a reputation for being a bit ostentatious with their money. And who can blame them? They earn far, far more in a week than most of us do in a year. If I earned that much, I would absolutely panic buy something stupid. I'd have a jet ski that I can't use. And no explanation for it. Fortunately, Sadio Mane is a better man than me.
I'd like to see you on the jet ski, Jim.
Play your cards right, Stu. Maybe you will.
I'd pay money for that, wouldn't you, Gemma?
Oh, definitely.
Anyway, a journalist once noticed that Mane was using a phone with a cracked screen, and he asked why he didn't just buy a new one. And Mane replied, "Why would I want 10 Ferraris, 20 diamond watches, or 2 planes when people are starving?" A sentence so emotionally mature it caused several football agents to faint clean onto the marble floor. This is a man who's surrounded by £400,000 cars that look like they were designed by a frightened beetle. And he's just there thinking, yeah, but what if people could read? So instead of launching a fragrance or a whiskey or brand Mane, he's used his money to build boring, practical, life-changing things like hospitals and schools and infrastructure.
I have to say, that's not boring, is it?
Well, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I think that's incredible.
So Mane grew up in the village of Bambali in Senegal. Then they didn't have a hospital. So his sister was born at home. His father died when Mane was young because medical care was too far away. So now they have a hospital with a maternity ward because Mane donated about £500,000 to build it. And he said very simply, I wanted to build one to give people hope. He's also donated hundreds of thousands to build a secondary school in Bambali because he believes that education shouldn't be treated like a luxury add-on. And when the school opened, he didn't even turn up to make it about himself. His uncle read a message saying education is very important. He didn't stop there. He donated laptops to students in the village. He paid bonuses to the best pupils. He funded internet access. He built a post office. He built a petrol station. At this point, he's less a footballer and more a one-man council. During the pandemic, he spontaneously donated £41,000 to Senegal's COVID response fund. His agent said he did it because he saw the situation and wanted to help. Which again, that's unsettling behaviour from a millionaire, isn't it?
It's incredible behaviour.
He also, and I love this one, he gives every family in his hometown a monthly stipend. It's about €70 a month. That's roughly the equivalent to a month's wage for a Senegalese citizen on minimum wage.
Oh, amazing.
And despite all of that, he's painfully shy about talking about it. He once said, sometimes I'm a bit shy talking about it, but I'm really happy to do what I can. Has nobody told him that's not how rich people are supposed to behave?
No, not at all.
So last summer, he was spotted back in Bambali playing football with friends on a muddy pitch. So that's where he ran away from at 15 to chase his dream. And now he's come back, not demanding statues, but he's just a bloke who's making sure everyone's got Wi-Fi. He even donated 300 Liverpool shirts to people in the village for the Champions League final. Any Manchester United fans in Bambali must have felt very conflicted at that point, mustn't they? On the pitch, he's won everything. He's won Champions League, league titles. He scored the winning penalty to take Senegal to victory in the African Cup of Nations. Off the pitch, he's actually won something much rarer, the Socrates Award for humanitarian work, named after a footballer who fought a military dictatorship. And when he accepted it, he basically apologised. And if all that wasn't enough, Mane is also an ambassador for Right to Play, an international non-profit organisation with a mission to empower vulnerable children. He's collaborated with the non-profit to provide equality and empowerment to young girls and women in Senegal, raising awareness of the importance for both girls and boys to be able to access sport and education opportunities. So, yeah, Sadio Mane is one of the world's best footballers, but more importantly, he is the undisputed champion of generosity before yachts. And if football needs role models, then we could do a lot worse than the bloke with the cracked phone and the fully functioning moral compass.
What a guy. Have you heard of him, Gemma?
I
You're...
haven't heard of him.
No,
I'm
I didn't.
actually ashamed of myself for not.
Well, don't be ashamed. Let's be inspired, I think. What a guy.
What a guy.
Incredible. That's a lovely story, that one.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know all this. So was that new to you, or did you know?
I wasn't aware how much he did.
Yeah.
I was aware he was one of those sort of nice footballers who's taken
Yeah.
a lot of money home,
Yeah.
but had no idea just
Yeah.
how much he'd done.
Well, we're just sort of talking off air, as they say, about multi-millionaires, billionaires. Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't you want to reinvest in society rather than making sex bots, as some like to do? It's got to be far more filling and better for your soul. So thanks, Jim.
Not at all. Now, look, Sadio Mane is, by any measure, he is a wealthy man. Most footballers who reach his level are, when you consider a player in a mid-range English Championship club, so not even Premiership, earns between £8,000 and £20,000 per week. So that's between 400k
Mhm.
and £1 million plus per year.
Mhm.
Mane's played for Liverpool and Bayern Munich. He's
Mhm.
now playing in the UAE. We can assume his earnings are well above that. But you don't have to be mega wealthy to do good philanthropic work, which I think, Stu, brings us quite nicely onto your next celeb.
Well, thanks, Jim. I'm going to be talking about an activist. Whilst we've been talking about celebrities, that's a very loose term anyway, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Isn't a celebrity just someone we know about?
Yeah, basically.
I'm going to talk about Malala Yousafzai. 2009, was an 11-year-old girl in the Swat Valley of Pakistan. She began writing a diary. She didn't write about toys or schoolyard crushes. So she wrote about the eerie silence of a town after music was banned. She wrote about the smoke from burning schools, and she wrote under a pseudonym, Gul Mackay, because in her world, a girl with a voice was a girl with a target on her back. We often talk about Malala through the lens of a single violent day in October 2012, but to focus only on the tragedy is to miss the true architecture of a spirit. Malala isn't a symbol of what happened to her. She is a masterclass in what happens when we refuse to let fear dictate our future. When the world learned her name, it was because someone tried to silence it. But as she famously said at the United Nations on her 16th birthday, they thought that the bullies would silence us, but they failed. And then out of that silence came thousands of voices. Malala taught us that resilience isn't just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward. She took a moment intended to end her story and turn it into a global message. She transformed from a student in a hidden classroom to a Nobel Peace Prize laureate, the youngest in history, not by seeking fame, but by seeking justice. Malala doesn't just want girls to go to school because it's nice. She wants them to go to school because it's economic and social fuel. So it sort of pretty much leads into what you were saying there, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
She has spent the last decade proving the multiplier effect. She highlights that if every girl received 12 years of education, the global economy could grow by up to $30 trillion. She advocates for the idea that books, not bullets, are the most effective counter-terrorism strategy the world has ever seen. She reminds us that an educated mother is twice as likely to send her own children to school, breaking cycles of poverty that have lasted for centuries. In 2026, you'll see that the Malala Fund has moved from being an icon to an architect of the system. Through the Malala Fund, she isn't just building schools, she's building a moment. Instead of flying in experts, her funds invest in local leaders, teachers, lawyers, and activists in places like Nigeria, Brazil, and Pakistan who know exactly what her communities need to keep girls safe and learning. Most recently, she became a leading global voice calling for the international recognition of gender apartheid, specifically highlighting the crisis in Afghanistan. She is challenging the world to see the exclusion of women not as a cultural difference, but as a crime against humanity. Having graduated from Oxford, she continues to model the very thing she fights for. Just this year, she was honoured with the 2026 Lifelong Learning Award, proving that after winning a Nobel Prize, her quest for knowledge never ends. When she was a little girl, Malala used to dream of a magic pencil that could redraw the world, that could erase the smell of gunpowder and draw a school in its place. As she stands on the world stage, she's realised that she doesn't need a magic pencil, she has a voice. Malala's legacy isn't that she survived, it's that she spoke. She reminds us that one child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world, but only if we have the courage to pick them up. Gemma, have you heard of Malala?
Again, every day is a school day. I am learning much tonight.
What you may have heard of, just to jog your memory, back in 2012, she was on a bus with two other girls after taking an exam, and she was shot by a Taliban gunman, an assassination attempt. They were targeting her basically for her activism. She was struck in the head by the bullet, and she was unconscious in a critical condition for a while. And that really sort of brought her to international attention. She became, some would say, the most famous teenager in the world. And that's against Greta Thunberg.
Yeah,
too, which is very
absolutely.
well.
Absolutely.
And probably Justin
Yeah.
Bieber at the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, weeks after that attempted murder,
Yeah.
50 leading Muslim clerics in Pakistan issued a fatwa against those who tried to kill her. And a lot of people rallied round in support.
Incredibly brave, isn't it, for
Oh,
someone so
absolutely.
young? An amazing story.
Yeah,
Absolutely
she
amazing
She
story.
didn't let that slow her down. She
No.
then returned to her activism
Yeah.
even more strongly than she had before.
We're celebrating some of the good people.
Absolutely. There are some out there.
So Jim, have you got one more for us?
I've got one more for us. I'm going to cover Maisie Williams. Maisie is undoubtedly a lot better off than Malala.
Mm-hmm.
She's a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
But compared to a top flight footballer, she's a very poor millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
But she still donates money to support worthwhile causes. First up, Maisie stood up for animals. She donated £50,000 to the Bristol Animal Rescue Centre, which was where she adopted her own dog, Sunny, from.
Mm.
And she did that because the shelter was facing collapse when fundraising dried up during COVID. So she literally put cash where her rescue pooch came from. Then there's her work on food poverty in her hometown of Bristol. So Maisie became an ambassador for the Mazzy Project, a charity that uses food as a way to empower disadvantaged young people, providing weekly meal kits, fresh produce, and support for 16 to 25-year-olds dealing with homelessness, poverty, and recovery. And it's not just lip service either. She's spoken passionately about the impact of simple things like a meal on someone's confidence and sense of self. And she even got stuck in herself live streaming and building meal kits with them. But there's more to being decent than throwing money at different things. Maisie's also been tapped by one of the world's biggest conservation charities, World Wildlife Fund, as their first global ambassador for climate and nature. So in that role, she's using her voice to highlight climate change, nature loss, and how we can all actually make a difference and not just share thoughts and prayers on social media. And that's not the only time she's lent her voice to causes that matter. She's backed anti-bullying and anti-racism campaigns. She supported clean water access with WaterAid, and generally refused to let her platform be used only for announcements about fashion campaigns or new film trailers. On top of this, and what helped bring Maisie into my top two, is her openness about the fact that life hasn't always just been a series of perfect Instagram moments. She's talked very candidly about how constant scrutiny, especially being in the spotlight from the age of 13, took a toll on her mental health. She shared that earlier in her career, negative comments online really got to her, and she's had to work through feelings of sadness and self-criticism rather than just plaster on a smile for the cameras. She spoke about how there was a period when she wasn't happy pretending everything was fine. There were nights she'd lie in bed and tell herself all of the things she didn't like about herself. And she's been frank about how she's trying to move past that. So she doesn't just talk about feeling crap in a way that pretends it's aesthetic. She's talking about it in a way that helps other people feel less alone. She said that learning to be genuine and not just performing's made her feel more relaxed and helped her mental health overall. So while she's also using her voice for big causes like food poverty and animal rescue, and that's wonderful in itself, what's even more impressive is that she lets people see the messy parts too. She's not hiding behind perfect lavender-filled positivity. She's saying, yeah, I struggle like everyone else. And that's pretty generous in itself. So it's not just helping others, it's modelling honesty and self-care when you've been thrown into the deep end at 14. So that's Maisie Williams, not a billionaire, not a global humanitarian CEO, just a good human being who pulls the spotlight towards things that matter, including mental health awareness, personal honesty, community support. And that's why she absolutely deserves a place in this episode.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, the thing about being genuine is important. I think you can relax if you are genuine because it takes effort to mask and to act. So if you can just be who you are, then it does help you relax because you're not trying to hide behind this facade and trying to keep up something that's not you. So,
and we all know in these social media, in the social media age, that everyone, but teenage girls, I think particularly, get a lot of very unpleasant things aimed their way.
Absolutely.
And to have someone who's been there in a very public way, talking about it, saying, you know,
and I think that shows strength as well, and if that influences other people as well, to be, you know, vulnerable, because being vulnerable is strength. That's courageous. If you can reach out to someone and say you're struggling or things are difficult, then that kind of normalizes you, and then other people think, well, oh, okay, they're feeling like that as well. It starts that whole sort of conversation, doesn't it? So she sounds incredible. How old was she?
She was 13 when she started in Game of Thrones.
Amazing.
That sort of wraps up our celebrities go right. If anybody's wondering, incidentally, why Gemma hasn't contributed any celebrities that goes right, it's because Gemma didn't do her prep this evening. So naughty step for Gemma.
Oh dear. Is there any kind of punishment for that?
We'll think of one. Don't worry.
We will. So
Gemma's buying the beers on Saturday. Hooray!
Do that. I think Shelley passed on her insomnia. That's my claim.
I don't think it's contagious, and
Is it not?
certainly not even when you're not in the same room, Gemma. So that was celebrities going right. Before we finish for today, I would like to talk about other people who have done good things. What I did this week is I decided to have a little look at local news. Now, if, like the three of us, you live in Norfolk, you'll get your local news from the Eastern Daily Press, or the EDP for short. And as a result, you might have stopped bothering to read the local news. The EDP, published by NewsQuest, is widely recognised as England's most popular regional morning newspaper.
Really?
Yeah, it sells more than any of the others. And really, I think that's a very sorry for other regional morning newspapers. So why, you might wonder, are we so critical of this local mag? Well, I just don't think it's very good. And it's certainly not very consistent in its reporting. So, on the 17th of January, the EDP proudly proclaimed that Norwich had been named amongst the best places to live for under 35s, which is nice, right? But wait.
What?
What's this?
What?
On the 26th of January, here's a story in the same paper which says that Norwich is the UK's most depressed city.
Oh.
What could have happened in those 9 days to create this shocking turnaround? Could it be the Norwich market pigeon controversy, which has moved swiftly from the suggestion of fines, that's for the people feeding the pigeons, not the pigeons themselves, just to be clear, to a petition, to feeding them contraceptive tablets.
What?
That's the pigeons, not the people feeding the pigeons, to be clear. Or could it just be poor editorial practice? Who knows?
I think the first one.
Look, I'm being harsh because buried underneath the headlines about pigeons barking and people being furious about benches, local news is actually a little treasure trove of small bits of human goodness. Because while it might not be earth-shattering, it's full of people quietly being nice and kind and helpful. So it's a break from culture wars and billionaires. It's just humans helping other humans, usually involving snacks or high-vis jackets or 4-year-olds with better moral compasses than the rest of us. And that's where these stories live, these little tiny ones. They don't change the world, they make it slightly less awful to exist in. So that's what I want to have a look at. So picture this, if you will, Gemma and Stu.
All right, I'll try.
It's the 26th of January.
Yep.
And you're stuck in traffic on the A27 near Chichester.
Oh,
for 3 hours.
what?
3 hours. I mean, that's long enough to.
Lead away, Jim.
Yeah, I'm picturing it. I don't like it.
No, I mean, look, there's time enough you can reassess your life, your marriage, and whether you
Mm.
actually needed to go to B&Q in the first place. Sounds pretty crappy, right?
Mm.
So let's give it up for two kindly people, Zara Best
Mm.
and the unlikely sounding Ollie Pullyblank, who took it on themselves to become motorway angels. They went to a nearby shop, they bought water and snacks, and they just handed them out to people in their cars.
Amazing.
No agenda, just being nice because they could. So
Yeah.
well done. Thank you, Zara Best and Ollie Pullyblank.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, over in Swale in Kent, the council has opened nominations for Community Hero Awards.
Oh.
The idea is you can nominate someone who's helped your neighbours or volunteered their time, just consistently turned up with a decent attitude and a flask. And the reward is an official ceremony and afternoon tea with the mayor. Now, I don't know who the mayor of Swale is. I assume they're delightful, and they would really like to finally be surrounded by people who actually deserve some applause. It's nice, isn't it?
Well, who doesn't want afternoon tea with the mayor?
Absolutely. And it's a little reminder that heroism, it's not capes and billionaires, it's just maybe, I know, Janet from number 14 who organises the litter pick and remembers everyone's birthday.
Or Ollie Holt Sweater, was that his name?
Ollie Pullyblank, not to be confused with Ollie Plimsoll.
If you're listening, by the way, Oliver, that's a great name. It's a great name.
Change it. And in Margate, a 4-year-old called Lenny donated £25 of his own Christmas money to Pilgrims Hospices so they can provide Christmas dinners.
Oh.
4 years.
Oh.
At
It's
4,
adorable.
At 4, my main contribution to society was attacking passers-by with my emu puppet and refusing to wear socks. So,
Have you got an emu puppet?
not anymore.
Did you used to have?
Yeah.
Were you like Rod Hull?
Yeah. Oh, no, I was 4.
All right.
But yeah, there is something beautifully humbling about being outperformed morally by someone who still needs help tying their shoes.
Did you go to B Jams and push people into the fridge freezers with your emu puppet?
Yeah, I mean, you'll have to ask my parents. Their memories of it are going to be much clearer than mine. In fact, it's probably scarred.
I think they would remember that.
I think they would. Anyway, look, my favourite local story from the week. It comes courtesy of the News Shopper. And they reported that a father and daughter were driving in Eltham, in southeast London,
Okay.
when they saw a strange animal standing on a roundabout.
What?
At first, they thought it might be a kangaroo or
Yeah.
a wallaby. Any guesses what this strange animal might have turned out to be?
Gemma,
I wasn't there. It wasn't me. No.
lynx, panther, budgie,
No.
Dog,
Nope.
a bear,
Nope.
Oh, was it a lamb?
Nope.
sheep,
Nope.
horse.
Nope.
Mm,
Give up.
Okay.
So did the News Shopper. It's unclear what the creature actually was. It just wasn't confirmed.
Oh.
But despite this, the local paper picked it up because, frankly, what else are you going to stick on page
I mean,
5?
that is an incredible piece of journalism, that, isn't it?
So,
I mean, it's a cliffhanger, isn't it?
congratulations to the News Shopper for the most completely
Yeah.
pointless piece of journalism of the week.
I think that's my favourite.
I think that
Yeah.
done it for me.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think perhaps so it's becoming clear why the EDP has such
Such a
high
great
standing.
readership.
Well,
Absolutely.
compared to the News Shopper, EDP's like the
It's
Times, isn't
This
it?
is
Very
all
highbrow,
round
very
close.
Yeah, absolutely.
Has anybody got any other business?
Oh, I have.
Oh.
Have you heard of the potato bed?
I'm sorry?
The potato bed, Gemma?
I've heard of Mr.
Is this a
Potato
whole
Head.
lot of cushioning and
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. So where have you seen this?
Pretty sure it wasn't a Dreams.
Well, anyway, it's on TikTok at the moment, and what it sort of promises is a swaddled, right, womb-like escape from the world. I mean, who doesn't want that?
Who doesn't want to be back in a womb?
Well, for sure.
I for one, am quite happy not being in a womb.
You're right, Gemma. It's essentially a DIY human nest. Okay, would you like
Sounds so much nicer.
would you like me to tell you how to make one?
I would love that, Stu.
Yeah, all right.
Lovely.
So you get an upside down fitted sheet, and this acts as the skin, all right? And then the edges are then packed with pillows and blankets to create a thick, raised rim. Okay?
Thick raised rim.
Absolutely, Jim.
There's a lot of emphasis on the word rim.
Okay.
On the subject of being given cream by the doctor, right?
Yeah.
Just a fun little
Yeah.
aside.
All right.
I had a chest infection a few years ago, right?
Was that the same time as the
no,
thick raised rim?
thick raised rim. So I went to the doctors. They prescribed me some pills, and I went down to the chemist to pick them up. They gave me my bag of medicines, and I wandered home, keen to take my first antibiotics and then steroids.
Yeah.
Instead, in my bag was a tube of a product called Vagifem.
Oh, okay.
Got
the wrong one.
They'd given me the wrong thing.
Did you rub it in?
But the itch did clear up, so that was good. No, it turned out it was for someone who lived just around the corner because the label was right. I thought, is it right to drop it round and go, I've got your Vagifem?
Well,
probably not.
Not after you'd used it.
But that wasn't my thick raised rim. That was another thing. Sorry, do continue with your potato bed story.
Thanks for that, Jim.
Oh,
so we've got the fitted sheet, haven't we? Acting as the skin. We've got our pillows and our blankets and our thick raised rim. So the centre is filled with layered duvets, creating a soft, sunken pit. So we got that as well. We've got a soft, sunken pit and a thick raised rim. Right. Do you know what the result of this is? You're going to get a cozy, cushioned crater that effectively is a giant dog bed. Have you seen these on TikTok? You kind of had some insight into that. Does that appeal to you, Jim?
Well, it's fun, but I've got a perfectly good bed.
Yeah. Well, I've been reading about these potato beds, and this.
Why are they potato beds?
Well, because it's like a sort of jacket potato, isn't it? You're creating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
jacket potatoes don't have thick raised rims.
Well.
Not if you cook them properly.
But thanks, Jim. I've been reading about.
Follow me online for more cooking tips.
Yeah, don't follow him. You get arrested. You'll end up in the Epstein files. I've been reading about these potato beds, and reports are that it's all right for a sort of 20-minute chill out, but if you try and sleep in it like as a proper bed, it's been described as a spinal nightmare. I mean, you don't want that, do you? A spinal nightmare. If you want to avoid a spinal nightmare,
sleep in just a bed.
Sleep in a bed.
Yeah.
Perhaps get yourself a nice weighted blanket or a strategic pillow loft. Yeah, get yourself a side sleeper, or get yourself a pillow, a body pillow or a U pillow. This is a TikTok craze. Doesn't actually seem to be very good for you, does it?
Not really.
That's true. I mean,
are you going to trial it, Stu? Have you given it? Have you road tested this?
I've not. I've just seen them online and heard about it, and that's what the kids are doing online. But that's the potato bed.
Just because the kids are doing it online, it doesn't make it right. I'm sorry.
Well,
I think that's a good place to leave things for this week. But if this episode has made you feel even 3% less like screaming into your pillow, then please do the good podcast things, like the episode, share it with someone who could use a reminder that not everyone with money's a monster.
Jim,
subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, so we can continue firing the news into the sea and immediately pretending maritime law doesn't apply to us. If you haven't done so already, please check out our latest music episode where we share some of our favourite cover versions and musical curios from well-known and well-loved artists like Wedding Presents, Sleaford Mods, Bob Dylan and Queen. You can also follow us on social media. Tell your friends, your enemies, or that bloke at work who insists both sides are as bad as each other while eating a meal deal with terrifying confidence. I'm going to keep talking at this point so Stu can't jump in and start sucking up to our American listeners. Hi, Virginia. Hi, California. Wherever you are in the world, thank you for listening and supporting our podcast.
I was going to say
We'll be
that.
back next week with more news.
I was going to say that.
Jokes, and more proof that being decent is still an option, even in 2026. Until then, be kind to yourself, be kind to other people. And remember, everything's fine. Probably.
Do I look like I've got any other business?
Oh, I don't want to assume. You might pull out an absolute pearler.